Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I am Melinda Pierce and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am here today to show you how to make this card. So it looks like this on the front, and then when you open it up, it's got these fun flags on the inside. Okay, so this one is done with the seashell set that is in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. It will be carrying over into the new catalog, which starts May 4th. So feel free to join me on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net, and you can purchase this set there. So I'm going to point you down and around just to let you know the card that I'm making today is actually going to be this one. And it opens like that. Okay, so I'm going to be using the same papers to make that one today. So we're going to start with our scoreboard, and this is for on the inside of the card to make this fold, and that's really the only tricky part of the card. The rest of it is pretty easy. So we're going to start with a piece of designer series paper that measures 9 inches across by 5.5, and we are going to score at 2 inches on both sides. So that's 2 inches and 7 inches. We are going to score it in half. So again, this is 9 inches, so half is 4.5. Had to think about that twice. And then you're going to score 1.25 inches from the center on both sides of the center. So that is going to be 3 inches. No, it's going to be 3.25 inches. Just double check that, 3.25 inches, and it's going to be 5.75 inches. All right, so that is the inside of our card, and we are going to start folding it, and it's going to start with a valley fold at the 2-inch mark, like that. And then a mountain fold, a valley fold, mountain fold, and valley fold. Okay, so when it's all folded up, it should look like that, kind of like a taco with a bunch of areas on the inside. Okay, so it all folds up like that. You may want to reinforce those score lines. And you can do that scoring on your cutter as well. I just found it a little bit easier on my scoreboard. Okay, so I'm just using the bone folder to reinforce those folds. By reinforcing the folds, not only does it open up easier, but it also makes the card a little bit thinner when you try to send it in the mail. Sometimes when you're mailing cards, it gets to be a little bit more expensive because they tend to get bulkier as we get more creative with our card making. Okay, so let me bring in the rest of our supplies here. So you have the base of your card. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it in half at 4.25. So that's just your basic card fold. I am using Pretty Peacock. I believe this is a cardstock that is being discontinued. May want to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's a gorgeous color, and it of course corresponds with this paper here, which is the Fern Garden. I think that's what it's called. Sorry. I'm looking more at the new catalog instead of the old one. But this is also available currently, and it will be retiring. Okay, so we are going to take the inside piece that we just made, and we are going to put glue on this strip here, on the 2-inch strip. And you do want to use glue or a really strong adhesive for this because you don't want your card to fall apart. And this part is going to take a lot of opening and closing and some pressure on it, so you do want to make sure it's a strong adhesive. So you could use Stampin' Up! Seal Plus, that is a stronger adhesive, or you could use the Tombow glue. So I am just matching this up with the edge of the card, like so. And then you can either close this up and put glue here and then close it, or you can just put glue here and again you're only attaching the 2-inch sections, and then you can match this up to the other edge of the card like so. And then it will all close up. All right, and then for the outside of the card, we're going to take a piece of cardstock. This is Seaside Spray. No, it is Seafoam. I believe this one is retiring as well. It's so hard to keep track of the in colors and which ones are leaving. Okay, so we're going to just attach this to the front of the card, and this piece of cardstock measures 5 1/4 by 4. And then we have a piece of Designer Series paper, and this measures 5 1/4 by 3, I believe. So what I did when I cut my Designer Series paper is I cut a strip that was that measured 5 1/2 up and down. And then I cut it off at 9. So this is actually just the leftover piece when I cut that. And then I just had to cut a 1/4 inch off. So it might be a good way to save some paper by using your cutoff piece instead of cutting them all separate. So this is going to just be attached to the front of my card. So I forgot to mention this card is one that I did during my Zoom session this past week. I do offer Zoom sessions Wednesdays and Saturdays. If you go over to my Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Melinda's Rubber Room, it's right up here, you can see all the latest and greatest information about my Zoom sessions, what card I will be featuring and walking you through how to do, as well as any sales that might be going on or any other projects that I might be doing in my studio. So I would love it if you joined us over there. Okay, so for the front of the card, I am going to go ahead and attach my saying. So I had already stamped this. And again, I stamped it with that pretty peacock ink. And then I die cut it out. And I had another die cut here that I was going to mat it onto. I seem to have misplaced it, but it was going to be the same effect with having the edge all the way around. But I am just going to do it this way since I can't find my die cut. And I'm going to go ahead and raise these up with dimensionals. And I'll take those, oops, that's my score tool. I'll take those little, take those little covers off with my Take a Pick tool. Make sure I got all of those off. So now I have them all saved on my Take a Pick tool. I can take those all off and throw them away and not have them scattered all around the house or all over my stamp table. Place that like so, and then I have some little die cuts already. Actually, I had to cut these out. I had to fussy cut these. So the stamp set that I'm using is called Enjoy the Moment. It's this one here. And it's in the current mini catalog, but it's also going to be in the current catalog as well. So it's a great set, especially for fall. But I really like this set. I have a couple other cards that I made with it. Got this one. And then this one as well. I really like this one. So lots of possibilities with that stamp set. Okay, so as I said, they do not have dies to cut these out, so I fussy cut them. But they were pretty easy. I mean, they're kind of a circular image anyway, so it wasn't that difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to raise these two up. Down in the corner here. And I'm going to separate these. And I'm going to glue them directly onto the back, onto the base of the card. That way it adds a little bit of dimension with having some raised and some not. And because these are raised, you can kind of just slide the other one right in underneath. Let's do that. All right, and that is our finished card. Oh, no, it's not. I didn't do the squares yet. Alrighty, so we are going to add 4 little squares to the inside, and these measure 1.5 by 1.5. And you're just going to glue them so that when you close the card, it's not hitting that, it's not going outside of the card. Okay, so this one is, so it's not sitting right next to the fold. It's inside, it's about halfway in from the fold, and that's going to allow it so that it's not going to be on the outside of the card. And this is going to be the same thing. And when you're doing these, you want them to kind of overlap each other, because if you just stagger them and they're not overlapping this way, they're not all going to fit on the card. So I'm going to kind of close this to find my placement, line it up with the edge of the card, and close it. Now that one's on the second fold. And I'm just going to alternate where the placement is on the fold. So this one is overlapping this one just a little bit. I want to make sure I have enough room down here for my last one. That looks like it'll work. Again, I want to make sure that this one is not going to be overhanging my card. Looks like that'll work. And then I'll do my last one. Looks like that will work. All right, so there we go. Looks like I could have moved this one in just a little bit more, but let's see if it's not too late. Nope, I can do it. Okay, so that's one of the nice things about Tombow glue, is it does give you a little bit of wiggle room as far as being able to move your glued down images. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit of stamping with my little stamps from Enjoy the Moment. And what I did was I cut 4 squares that are 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch. And this one is Calypso Coral. No. It's hard to read the sign. Crushing Curry. And then we have Cherry Cobbler. And then I'm going to use Pretty Peacock again. Oops. These two images look so much the same, but they are actually different. types of pods. Alrighty, and then we just need to attach those squares to the inside. I'm going to start and end with the pretty peacock. Just kind of mix it up in between. So the top and the bottom squares are going to be pretty peacock. I'm just going to add a little bit more interest by changing up the colors a little bit. All right, here we go. All right, so now that is the finished card. There we go. All right, so in case you're wondering where you're going to sign this card, you can add just a little strip of piece of paper, a little piece of cardstock right here, and just write your little greeting, you know, thinking of you or whatever you want to do. All right, on this card, I did add a few embellishments down on the bottom, so there are other ways that you can decorate it. And again, let me show you my original one with the seashells. So you really don't need to use the stamps and the papers that I used. You really can do this with any cardstock and stamps that you might have. Of course, if you are interested in purchasing any of the products that I showed, you can do so at my my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. If you'd like to follow me on my Facebook page, you can do so at facebook.com/Melinda's Rubber Room. I'd be happy to have you join us over there and stay up to date on everything that is happening in my studio. Just a reminder, today is May 2nd, and we only have one more day to purchase from the current catalog. The new catalog will be going into effect on May 4th. So that's really exciting. Great, some new great stamp sets coming out, and of course dies and papers and everything else. But there are still some great deals to be had on the online store. So be sure to check those out. They're under the retired section and under the clearance section too. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something new. That is always my goal, for you to get some inspiration and hopefully learn a new trick or two. All right, hope you have a great day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.